Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Lori Pierce. Today we're welcoming Laura Kopp, President and CEO of CASI, the Center for Active Seniors. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, today we're going to talk to Laura about keeping senior citizens active. So can you tell us briefly about CASI and what you guys do in the community?
Sure. CASI is the Iowa Quad Cities' only comprehensive senior center, and what that means is beyond just simply providing activities, which we have no small number, we provide over 7,400 activities every year for seniors. We also have supportive services and health and wellness related services. So we've been in the community since 1973, providing services for seniors, helping them age successfully. So really glad to be here and glad to be a part of the community.
That is wonderful. It's so needed. So that is just so wonderful.
I agree.
That you guys are here.
Thank you.
So there are 10,000 baby boomers every year that turn 65. Is that true?
It is. It is. You know,
Wow.
The baby boomer population is just now kind of hitting the scene. We're calling it the silver tsunami. We haven't seen the largest wave yet, but we are expecting that. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they're coming. So, you know, CASI has spent the last 10, 15 years really working to create a model to meet the needs of that ever-growing population, because they're certainly looking and talking and acting a lot differently than I think some of the generations that we've seen that have come before. So we're really excited to be a part of that journey with them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So when you have a lot of these people retiring, do you find them going into nursing homes, or do they stay in their own homes and utilize companies like CASI?
You know, I think people are staying independent longer. I like to think it's because in the Quad Cities we have such a strong network of services for seniors to help them age successfully and to assist them in staying independent. For example, one of the programs that we have at CASI is our Senior Outreach and Advocacy Program. And the entire goal of that program is to help seniors remain independent in their homes for as long as is safe and healthy for them to do. So this is a free of charge program to all seniors in the Quad Cities community, Iowa or Illinois. It is 100% grant funded through the United Way, Scott County, and Milestones Area Agency on Aging. And we have licensed social workers that go out into the homes with these individuals to connect them with the resources and the benefits and the services that they need to remain independent. In this past year, 97% of the folks that we were working with remained independent in their home.
Wow, that's amazing. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what are some of the benefits of staying socially, physically, and mentally engaged as a senior?
Well, we know those individuals that are staying active and staying socially engaged, especially as they enter their older adult years, are staying more healthy. When you are engaged with other people socially, you tend to identify when you're not feeling well, whether that means because it's impacting your social life or just because you're talking with other folks that may have similar symptoms to what you're having. But staying socially engaged also helps us stay mentally engaged, and that is very important to successful aging.
Sure. So are there any common myths about senior living and activity centers that you would like to address?
Well, I think, you know, what we see is this tendency to not really engage with the senior center, almost because you need to accept something about yourself that you're not ready to accept. You need to accept that I am older or that I can't do things for myself. And so what we're trying to do at CASI is really help to redefine the term senior and what that means. We have a running joke at the center that we have seniors, but we also have freshmen and sophomores that are coming in to participate in our activities and our services. And we hear a lot, I'm not old enough to go to CASI, or I don't need CASI. And we're here to say, I think we all need CASI. Sometimes it is that I literally need the resources and benefits that CASI can provide, whether it be through our advocacy program or adult day services program, but maybe you need a cup of coffee.
Right.
We have a cafe. It's named Eleanor's Cafe after Eleanor Duffy of the Permar Security family. Okay. She was a co-founder of that company and was very involved in our early beginnings. But that entire program is geared towards socialization and just helping people stay connected, engage new friendships, and have an opportunity to age more successfully. Maybe it's that you need to engage in some activities or exercises, or maybe you need a support group, or maybe you are looking for an opportunity to play cards on the weekend. So I think there are other ways that maybe people need CASI that they haven't thought about, and we would love for them to stop in and hear what we're all about.
Yeah. So what are all the activities that you do?
All
there?
7,400.
Oh, well, not all
They are.
7,400.
We have just a whole host of activities. Our activities director is really geared towards expanding that program and looking at out-of-the-box activities that we can provide to folks, because we're really not a couple of card tables down in the basement of a church parish center. We have over 40,000 square feet in which we are providing 7,400 activities every year. So that is everything from Zumba, which is a fast-paced dancing opportunity. We have line dancing. We have a 50-piece band, our New Horizons band, which is a national senior center band. But we also have a senior theater. We have a chorus. We have multiple support groups, card clubs, we have a billiards room, we have a hair salon. So I could go on and on and on, very excited and proud of what we have over there. But I think we have a little bit of something for everyone based on, you know, whatever your needs and desires are.
Yeah,
so
that's great. So what would happen, would you say, if a senior would kind of ignore their problems or kind of pretend they don't exist?
Well, I think we all have a tendency to do that, especially as we are working and raising our families. But I think, you know, once you retire, you really don't want to focus on anything that's going to slow you down. This is supposed to be the prime of our life. So what we do at CASI is we partner with other area agencies and business partners such as Unity Point Health Trinity and Genesis to provide light touch prevention, health and wellness services. And that helps our folks, at least the ones that are coming into the center, to have the opportunity to talk with a health professional, to recognize when something may be wrong, but to catch it quicker. I think when we ignore things or we try to pretend that there's nothing wrong, we allow things that maybe never should have progressed to a certain level to get to a level where we're going to need more treatment. It's really going to impact our health and our ability to age successfully. So we really encourage prevention as much as possible.
Yeah. So do you think not only coming to the center and doing all of that, but just being active on the internet or social media, do you think that's helpful for?
I do. You know, unfortunately, I lost my mom. She was 56. It'll be 10 years this year. But I always think she would have loved Facebook. She lived in Ohio. I'm here in Iowa. I have 2 kids. They were her only grandchildren. And I think, you know, that's what we're seeing a lot of is our older adults are engaging on social media. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. We do have some folks that are on Snapchat. You know, they've engaged wholeheartedly with that. But they're also getting online to find different ways to remain connected, whether that be email, whether that be through their iPads with, you know, Skyping or whatever. I think it's just increased their ability to stay connected, stay active, and stay social, which is great.
Yeah. You know, my mom's 75 and she does all of that. She Facebooks, she does all of it, and I just think it's wonderful. And she Skypes, FaceTime. It's important to keep in touch when everyone lives so far apart, and it's good for.
Exactly,
so
and I think it's so much easier now to do that and to maintain that relationship. You know, she would have been able to, you know, watch my daughter go to homecoming this year. And so, yeah, so we do see a lot of that, and I think it's a real benefit to our older adults.
Yeah, I agree. So how does a senior's personality impact the way they communicate with the world?
Well, I think it's no different than the way that the rest of our, you know, communication styles are impacted by personality. If you have a personality that's very negative or closed off, you're probably going to find it more challenging to build meaningful relationships with folks. What we tend to see, and I think what the research shows, is as we age, we tend to become more positive, which I think is the opposite of what we perceive as happening with older adults. Our brains are just much more focused on the things that are positive. The negative things don't seem to impact us as much. We really don't care what people think about us anymore, and it's really kind of freeing when you get to that point. So, you know, what we're seeing is a lot of positivity at the center and a lot of positive thoughts going on with our seniors, and they're looking to do things. They want to stay engaged, they want to meet new people, they want to build those relationships. But I think it's just like any other age group. It's a bell curve, so you're gonna have extremes on either end, but for the most part, I think most of us are looking for ways to create a meaningful life, regardless of what stage of life we're in.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So do you feel seniors receive the proper amount of health care to be productive citizens?
You know, I'm not sure that I'm an expert on that, but I think with the changes that we're seeing in healthcare, it's going to be more and more important that seniors are doing the research that they need to ensure that they have adequate coverage, that they are accessing all points of the healthcare system, because that's changing rapidly. And so what we try to do is provide as much education as possible. CASI is a state-designated SHIP site, which is the Senior Health Information Program. So as folks are getting near the age where they would qualify for Medicare, we have educational opportunities, and we have counselors that are working with them to engage them and enroll them in services that are going to help them stay healthy longer.
Well, that's nice, because the healthcare industry can be overwhelming anyway, and then when you're 65 and older trying to figure out what you need,
exactly,
it's wonderful to have that support system there.
Exactly, and I think we need to be very frugal in who we're listening to and whose opinion. You know, there are opportunistic people out there that would want to take advantage of the fact that a lot of folks don't understand what's happening in the healthcare industry right now. So.
Sure. Great. Well, what community efforts are underway to really educate the public about the importance of active seniors?
You know, we are going through a rebranding process right now, and so we are trying to engage with as many of our media supports as possible to help redefine what that means to be a senior, and that they have an opportunity that's really unique in the Quad Cities to engage with other folks, to remain active, to access resources and education that will help them to navigate that tsunami or that path, if you will. We're fairly unique. We're the only senior center of our kind that is so comprehensive in the state of Iowa. And what we're starting to see is that expands to our Midwest region, and that we're very unique in the way in which we approach activities and services. So we're trying to get that out as much as possible to our folks.
Wonderful. Well, how can viewers get more resources, or if you're a senior citizen, to get more help?
Sure. They could certainly visit CASI. They can go to our website at www.casiseniors.org. They could give us a call. They can visit our Facebook page if they would like. But there's also other resources out in the community as well. We work very closely with the United Way, which serves as a resource for all Quad Cities citizens. And then we also work with the Milestones Area Agency on Aging. So there are plenty of opportunities. If you don't know where to go ahead and start with CASI, and we'll get you where you need to go.
Perfect. Well, Laura, thank you so much for this wonderful information, and stay tuned. We'll be right back with more joy.
Imagine a place where you can see the Bible come to life. From the Garden of Eden and the historic land of Israel, through the life of Jesus, to the glory of heaven. Imagine yourself at the Holy Land Experience in Orlando, Florida. Imagine ancient Israel through the Wilderness Tabernacle, the streets of Jerusalem, and the Great Temple. Imagine living in the days of David and Bathsheba, one of the Old Testament prophets, or the Apostle Paul. Imagine seeing the transforming power of Jesus come to life in those you've only read about. Imagine being an eyewitness to the life of Jesus, his miracles, his love, his sacrifice, and his final victory. Imagine being in the upper room for communion, following Jesus into baptism, walking through historic and peaceful gardens, or praying at the Wailing Wall. Imagine seeing the great scenes from the life of Jesus depicted in stunning fashion. Imagine the journey of God's Word through the ages, from tablets to scrolls to the printing press. Imagine the life and work of angels yesterday and today. Imagine being in the ark or the belly of a whale, crossing the Red Sea, or walking on the water with Jesus. Imagine this. experience in Orlando, Florida. Plus, miracle moments, the Jerusalem model, Bethlehem, the Jesus boat, the Stations of the Cross, special guest speakers and musicians, the stunning Church of All Nations Auditorium, and the crystal living waters. Can you imagine it? Then live it. Imagine yourself at TBN's Holy Land Experience in Orlando, Florida.
Not sure what to do with all those paint cans, cleaners, and other harmful items under the sink and in your garage? This material poses a health risk and is harmful to the environment, so it can't be thrown out. Go to wastecom.com and make an appointment to bring in your hazardous material. We will dispose of it properly, and here's the best part. It's free for Scott and Rock Island County residents. Proper disposal of hazardous material. Good for the environment, easy for you.
Welcome back to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Lori Pierce. Today we're talking with Laura Kopp, President and CEO of CASI, Center for Active Seniors. Laura, welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So glad you could be here with us today and talk about this very important issue.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Thanks. So with the election right around the corner, I know, question seniors, is there a large selection of seniors that are voting?
Well, all of our seniors are of voting age. So first and foremost, but yes, there are. I think what we're seeing are that our seniors are very interested in the candidates and where we're going to go, not only as a country, but locally here in the community. They're very involved. We are a registered voting site actually at CASI. So we see a lot of seniors that are coming. It's very convenient. We have over 1,200 seniors that are members at the center. So it's very easy and convenient as they're participating in our activities to also hit the voting polls.
Sure.
So we are very excited about that. We partner with the United Way and AARP on different aspects of that. But yeah, so I think we are seeing a lot of seniors that are coming out and voting because they're very involved and very interested in impacting what happens in their community.
Wonderful. Well, explain to us about volunteering with CASI and how we can help reach out and help the goals of the senior citizens.
Sure. We would be nothing without our volunteers, and I'm sure a lot of organizations say that, and a lot of not-for-profits benefit from the work of volunteers. But in 2015, we worked with close to 700 volunteers that provided close to 40,000 hours of service to help further our mission. It was, when you figure in their time and the revenue that would come in from that if those were, individuals, so that's over $1 million that we get for free because folks are interested in what we're doing and they're passionate about what we're doing and they believe in what we're doing. So we have plenty of opportunities. We have many special events that happen throughout the year. If folks are interested in being a part of something more social and a little bit more fun, we work with close to 200 volunteers on our annual St. Patrick's Day race alone. So, but we also have opportunities within the center to help run activities. A majority of our activities are run by volunteer instructors. We have many aspects within the facility that folks can help with cooking, with cleaning, with just, running a class or participating in an activity with an older adult. So really, whatever your goals are, we can probably help connect you. Our volunteer coordinator is very adept in identifying what your needs and desires are and fitting them somewhere within the organization.
And when you're volunteering, you think you're just helping others, but you get so much out of it yourself.
You do. It's very rewarding, isn't it? I think, most of us go into volunteering, think that we're doing it for altruistic reasons and that it's really going to be great that I'm going to help someone else, provide a hand up, not a hand out. And I think we probably get more out of it than the other person. At least I do. Carrying that forth and helping someone else is really rewarding.
Yeah. And you have another event coming up also, don't you?
We
with CASI?
do, our annual Hat Bash. This will be the 7th annual bash, if you will. It is everything and all things hats. We have a hat contest. The ladies wear the big church hats or the Kentucky Derby hats, but we also have folks that wear very funny hats. Handmade hats, they make their own, and we do have a competition for that. And these are folks that really, they aren't asking us for jewelry. They're not asking us for brand name clothes. They are asking for underwear. They are asking for socks. They're asking for laundry soap. These are really the essentials of living, if you will. And so we're really looking forward to having another very successful year. We partner each year during the Hat Bash with our local senior living facilities, and they have their executive chefs come on, and they have a food competition. We have a silent auction and a raffle, lots of really, really fun things going on there. It really is a party with a purpose. That's what we call it.
That's wonderful. And didn't we just have like a Senior Citizen Month?
We did. September is National Senior Center Month. In fiscal year 2016, CASI will become only the second nationally accredited senior center in the state of Iowa. And so we were very excited this year to host a whole month's worth of events to celebrate Senior Center Month. We started off with proclamations from both the city of Bettendorf and the city of Davenport to proclaim September as National Senior Center Month. And then we just had a whole host of activities, special seminars and events that went along with that. So we're exhausted, but we were pretty excited and very proud to serve the Quad Cities community in the way in which we're able to. So
wonderful. Well, despite the teenage stereotype, it seems like the media portrays them of being the high risk of suicide, but it seems like people 65 and older are more likely to commit suicide. Are you finding that that's true?
Fortunately, we have not been touched by that at CASI. I know that, locally we have recently seen some instances of that at the high schools, at the college level, in midlife. I don't think any of us are really excluded from that risk, but I think what goes into that really is when you think about it, when you are in your older years, you've had a whole lifetime of maybe dealing with mental health issues. We know about the healthcare system. Maybe you do or do not have access to adequate mental health care, or the benefits that go along with that to support medication needs. I think what we know, you can imagine, we have greater loss the older that we get as we start losing friends and family and spouses. And so I think that cumulative effect of those things and the impact that has on our lives, I think, that doesn't surprise me that we would see higher rates in the older population. You have chronic health issues that are impacting your quality of life. It can be very lonely, and I think that really highlights the needs for senior centers like CASI or other community partners that are doing similar and wonderful things to engage seniors and keep them engaged, not just individually with each other, but with their community as well, so that they know that there's help out there, that they know that there's the resources out there. We have a very strong NAMI chapter here, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. They just celebrated their NAMI walk this past weekend. So there are resources out there. The Quad Cities is a very strong social services community. So if you don't know where to go, start with CASI, and we'll help connect you with those other community partners that are going to help keep you safe and healthy and happy. Really, that's what we want to be, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Now, I would say things are better off than they used to be years ago for senior citizens. Do you think there's a large percentage, though, that live in poverty?
Well, certainly, I think we're seeing that folks are living longer. And so as we retire and we begin living on a restricted income, if we're living longer, those dollars tend not to stretch as far. So we're starting to see a lot of folks either working longer or re-engaging with the workforce or finding opportunities to start a small business maybe or be an entrepreneur, which is fantastic, I think. But we need to just make sure people have access to the resources they need to help build them out of that poverty, because there are special programs out there that can help folks that are of a certain age. So I think you're right. I think there's probably a large population of those folks that are living in poverty, and that's part of our goal, is to help bring them out of that.
That's wonderful. And what about driving? do a lot of senior citizens still drive their own vehicles?
Absolutely. I think that's a misperception as well, is that seniors don't drive for themselves or that they lack transportation. And what we're seeing, if you drive by our parking lot, you'd be hard pressed to find a spot. And we have close to 500 spots over at the facility. So I think we need to be aware, I think, as children and family members and caretakers and loved ones of older adults, we need to be aware when that's an issue, whether that's a vision issue, whether that is a reflex issue, or whatever it may be. We need to be aware of what's going on, make sure people are safe and healthy and are able to maneuver a vehicle.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing is folks are able to drive well into their 80s and 90s. So I think just having that open communication and being aware of what's going on with our folks. So
Yeah. And they're probably better drivers because they don't have phones that they're dealing with.
Exactly. They're not texting.
Yes.
They're not on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's probably statistics that say that there are more accidents with older adults versus maybe our teenagers and younger adults. But I would say our seniors are probably driving more.
Yeah.
They have more free time. You know, when you're a teenager, you need to drive with someone else in the car. You're in school for 8 hours a day, whereas our seniors are retired.
Yeah.
They travel. They drive around the community. So I would say that, you know, the likelihood that they're going to be in an accident is probably higher just because of the amount of driving that
Right.
they do as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we go, how about we recap a few ways that we can help senior citizens feel like a kid again?
Well, certainly coming and visiting the center and engaging in any number of the activities that we have on site at the center is a great way. We also partner with other agencies that have space over at the center. But I think just taking the first step and coming to the center and seeing what we're all about. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Come on over. We'll sit in the cafe and we'll talk about it. It's not scary. We don't have residents there. It's not a nursing home. It really is a place where folks can come to remain young, really.
Yeah.
So just come on over.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for your passion and wonderful information that we could share with our viewers today.
Well, thank you so much for being such a great partner and having us on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you next time on Joy in Our Town.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and made possible by your telethon dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town brought to your home every day. So write Joy in Our Town, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.
You're watching TBN, part of the Trinity Broadcasting family of networks.